A second tool, and this is one of my favorite. It's not one I talk about often because it seems deceptively simple and deceptively easy. If we're going to name it, I would call it the pause or the sacred pause. Now, what is the sacred pause? Well, let me give a little story here. I spent a semester abroad in Barcelona, Spain. And it was my first time really out of living for an extended period of time on my own outside of the United States. I lived with a host family in Barcelona, and they didn't speak English, just spoke Spanish with them. And I was there for several months. And there were moments where I would feel homesick. I would feel lonely. I would feel sad. And what I would do, not all the time, but sometimes, is I grew up in nature. I grew up with lots of beautiful forest, beautiful fields, trees, flowers, all of that. I was living in a city, wasn't used to living in a city. So what did I do? I went outside and across the street from my host family's home. We're about a mile from Plaza de Catalunya, for any of you who know Barcelona there. It's near downtown, and we're on one of the diagonal streets off of that. And there's a small little park. And there's a concrete park, and there was a few trees and bushes and some benches. And that was it. Very small. I would sit on the bench, I would look at the tree, and I would just stop and connect with the tree for a moment. And in that, it was like a portal that I was able to go into that connected me with my entire experience of being in the natural world. Or I would sit at night, and I would see the moon and the stars. Not much because of the city lights, but I would see a little bit. And then I would connect with the tree. And in that moment, my mind, my emotions, my experience from that loneliness, from the homesick, from all of that, from contracted, right, would just become open. It would be spacious. And it was like fresh air would flow into my being. And I would feel more relaxed, more available, and more open. And it connected me with the sacred. It brought me into that experience of awe. And I found since then, no matter where I am and what I'm doing, if I give myself permission to take a moment and stop, I can connect back in with that experience of awe. Now, for me, the natural world is a portal to that. So right now I can stop and I can look out my window. There's a beautiful palm tree there. I'm here in Florida. I can just breathe and connect, and I'm seeing the wind going through the palm tree, see the sunlight reflecting off of it. There's alive. And I can use that to connect in with a sense of awe of life. No matter what is happening around us, if we take that moment and use something in our external environment to have a pause, connect with, breathe. And yes, we can do it internally, but I found the external can really help me. And maybe it's a photo. Maybe it's an object. Maybe it's taking a glass and drinking water consciously. What the invitation of a sacred pause is to consciously bring our awareness fully into that moment and to allow our perception of ourselves, of our life, of what's going on, to simply open up, to blossom, to bloom into the fullness of life. And when we remember to periodically bring that into our lives, what happens is we start to shake off some of the being perpetually stuck in a way of being, in a perception of things, in a contracted something, and we can pierce through that for a brief moment and experience a breath of peace, a breath of harmony. So this is another tool that I invite you to step into. And if you're having the experience like the sacred pause, feel free to drop that into the chat as well. What works for you? If you took on the sacred pause as a practice, what would you use as a moment there? Is nature the thing for you? Maybe it's something else that really connects in for you to help pierce the contraction of being stuck in a certain mindset and getting to experience the joy and the peace of life again.